What's up, everybody? Episode 1, Full Nelson Radio. Long time coming. I'll get right into it. Quick note, I just want you to know I do this with no notes and definitely no AI. Neither of those things are welcome here on this radio show. 3 topics I want to get into. The first one's going to be the Louvre Heist in Paris. Second is going to be you jokers on Twitter, yes, I still call it Twitter, arguing the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall debate following the pay-per-view there. I think it was UFC 321. And then the last thing I'll talk about is what everyone's talking about, the interview between Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. So let me hop into it. So the Louvre Heist, I was deeply interested in this story from the minute I heard about it. It was one of those things kind of made me feel like we're living, like it's not 2025, like it felt like something from the past. I don't know if you know if you guys agree with that. Especially when it was just, I can't remember if the Louvre Heist came first, which one came first, but that along with the this scandal with the NBA with Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups and probably many others with that gambling thing. Those 2 stories happening so close to each other, it feels like a little blast from the past. Some good old-fashioned crime happening in the world still. Not glorifying crime, but come on, these are interesting stories. So what do I think about the heist specifically? Initially, when I had seen the details about it all, I had a thought that, I'll be straight up. I thought it was bigger than it was. I thought it was like this professional team. I thought perhaps they had been hired by some kind of eccentric billionaire. I wasn't the only one that thought that. That thought was out there all over the place. Someone who had hired some team to get these jewels, the crowns, the diamonds, whatever. I'm not sure I think that much. I think that anymore. I'm not so confident in that anymore after some of the stuff has come out. For one, I think the arrest total is up to 5, or maybe they said 5 more. I know initially there were 2, and then I saw an article before that said 5 arrested. I don't know if that's 5 more or 5 total. But on its face, when it was being reported initially, they were saying, oh, this all happened in under 9 minutes, under 7 minutes, with, the stated intention of trying to make it seem as if this was some kind of professional, high-quality, in-and-out job. I mean, if you really think about it, and I kind of thought the same thing initially, but then when you think about it, if you sat there and kind of just timed out 7 minutes sitting there alone in silence, it can feel like quite a bit of time. And when you add in the additional factors of these people are trying to commit a crime, one that if they are caught doing, they will go to jail for a very long time. Throw in that motivation, and people can move pretty quick, okay? Especially if they're skilled and experienced in the activity that they're engaged in. So then you find out that they dropped a crown on the escape. That's sloppy. Everybody thinks that's sloppy. But I'll admit, my initial thought, I kind of wanted this to be a much bigger story than I think it's turning out to be. They arrested, I think, at least 2 of the people one of them is a French-Algerian, and then I heard another person was trying to escape to Mali. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I doubt if he was a white guy, he was trying to escape to Mali. But anything's possible, just not exactly a great place to blend in if you're a white guy that just robbed the Louvre. But who am I? So, I don't know, at this point, I'm starting to think it was just a bunch of, they probably have experience, they've probably done something along the lines of this before, but I don't think it was like some Ocean's 11, geek squad of friggin' people who can just know how to break into stuff. It was not a very sophisticated plan. The security wasn't that great. I don't believe any alarms were triggered upon the cutting of the window to get into the Louvre. I think, from what I remember, I think there were some alarms triggered when the actual cases were broken into, but I'm not 100% sure of that either. But either way, I mean, I think it was a combination of a bunch of bold people and bad security. Anyway, moving on, Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall. You guys are giving me a lot of crap about this, but I actually saw a lot of people agreeing. Let me just be pretty clear, like very, very clear. So Tom Aspinall's great, okay? You can't compare Aspinall and Jones. And this isn't a new thing. It's like comparing, LeBron and Kobe on LeBron's like second year in the league. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You have to compare careers. You can't compare, you can't just focus on the thing in the moment. Jon Jones has been doing this, beating people in professional mixed martial arts competitions since Tom Aspinall was like a freshman in high school. Okay? That is not a criticism of Tom. It's that what Jon Jones has done is beyond impressive. It'll never be replicated. Okay? Khabib had the 29-0, but when you look at his record, it does not compare to Jon Jones. Okay? Tom Aspinall is great. I kind of side with him on this whole eye poke thing, but stop eye poking, Cyril Gane. If you don't want the fight to end that way, you can't poke people's eyes. And he did it multiple times, and it was bad. It was bad. Nobody can say it wasn't bad. The idea that he took the easy way out, the dude's fucking, both of his eyes got raked, and then he, I get the optics. I get that people think but he really wasn't getting whooped on. I know there was the blood, but let's be honest, he was not getting whooped on. So the debate between Aspinall and Jon Jones is dumb at this point, unless and until they fight. The idea that Jon Jones retiring and not fighting Aspinall somehow eliminates his career going back to 2008, that's a stupid thought. Don't say that out loud. You're stupid if you think that, honestly. All right, I'm not sure how much time I have left here. Let's talk about it. Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson. Why aren't you allowed to talk about the Jews? Why aren't you allowed to talk about them? And we're not even talking about the Jews. That's how they try to characterize what people that agree with us say. It's not about Jewish people. I love Jewish people. I actually envy the religious Jews and their discipline and their success. Of course, I envy all that. I admire that, as a matter of fact. We're not talking about your neighbor. We're talking about the government of Israel, which is not religious. It's not a religion. They're ethnic Jews. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said yet. But what is this? We've all seen this now, where everybody wants Tucker Carlson canceled. Nick Fuentes is the devil or whatever. None of these people shouldn't be allowed to speak in public. That's about as anti-American as you can be. Just telling someone, shut up, you can't say that. If you want to debate someone, debate someone. But this crap that we have in this country of anything that's not something I agree with, it's not just something I disagree with, it's that person's evil and needs to be eliminated or whatever. I think it's disgusting. There is a right and wrong. There's moral and immoral. And we're always going to probably live in a world where there's people that are on both sides of those arguments. But you will always be on the wrong side. You'll always be on the evil and immoral side if you're on the side of people that say that person should be killed, that person should be silenced, that person should be removed from the public eye because I disagree with them. If you think that, you're truly a sick individual, and I pray for you. But I don't have a lot of hope because I think you're too far gone. Anyway, that's the first episode. Thanks for listening, all 10 of you. And maybe I'll do this tomorrow.